Let's move on to Gujarat. Negatives, Roberto.
When they were actually in the tournament, so for the first 80% of it, their intent at the top of the order and through the first 6, 7, 8 overs was a hate crime, and it was disgraceful. The lot of them. Nobody can absolve themselves from this. The day that they went, before Sudharsan had developed the ability to kick on, Gill not trying to score quickly, Sudharsan not trying to score quickly, Kane Williamson batted in the power play, and then Vijay Shankar came in to slow it down a bit. What are you doing? What are you doing in this IPL? Like, we've seen, there was a bit in the middle of the IPL where everyone was scoring absolutely loads and tonking sixes everywhere, and Gujarat just insisted that they weren't going to do that. And they didn't score more sixes. I think they scored more sixes than their opponents once out of 14 games. They weren't really trying to hit them. They don't really have an answer. So yeah, they lost Hardik, huge loss, because he did the right thing for them. He was number 4, and that's what he did. And they lost Shami, who got absolutely boatloads of wickets. That's going to cause a problem in your team. But it didn't mean that the batting intent suddenly had to go to 0. And everyone else was batting in 5th gear, and they were just plodding along in 2nd, going, yeah, but we're none down, or we're 1 down. You know, Saha's got out, and we're just going to, us two are going to now bat for 10 overs at 7.5 and over, and the other teams are going, yeah, if you want, absolutely fine. Rubbish intent. Kane Williamson played twice, and his strike rate was exactly 100, and that's what he always does. Vijay Shankar, 115 strike rate. None of them, if you look down all these teams, look at SRH, the strike rates of these people, and you look at the run scorers in Gujarat, and the best ones are 140 something. The 1+ was when they put Sharuk Khan at the order.
Yeah, and then
and then all of a sudden they looked like a bit of intent, and he started smacking spinners, and like he looked good. A good season for him. But Gujarat were appalling, and they got exactly what they deserve out of this IPL, which is nothing.
Can I add something to that as well? When it comes to negatives, I think that they came in, and we thought that between over 6 and 20 was going to be a huge plus when they were bowling. And Rashid had a poor season. Noor Ahmed didn't do as well as we were hoped. And Mohit Sharma fell off several cliffs.
Yep.
You know that episode of The Simpsons where Homer keeps going over the cliff? That was that was Mohit Sharma's year this year. Such a shame. I'm a huge fan of his, but wowzers. Interested in your positives here?
That literally, he mentioned the one positive,
Which was?
Shah Rukh Khan.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like this is off the pitch, but they did some, they invested in some sustainability initiatives. I think that's the positive.
Oh my God! If you are a Gujarat fan, imagine hearing, what's a positive? Well, off the pitch, they were really good for the environment.
Yes.
They don't have to travel as much now, so their net carbon limit has come down because they're not flying around for the finals. Kritika, that is the best answer I think I could have possibly have had. I'm going to add one thing that I think you're being a little bit harsh. I think Sai Sudarshan found another level this year.
Oh, for sure. Yes.
And I do think I love him as a player, and it's a little bit sad he's no longer the player that me and Rob first fell in love with, but I love watching him develop and everything else. But we saw him have high intent for 2 games.
Yeah.
He's going to have to do that for 8 or 9 minimum next year. But isn't it great, Gujarat fans, that you are doing so many great things for the environment? And isn't that what you get into the IPL for?
To be fair, like, we couldn't stop talking about Sai Sudarshan the last time we did a watch-along.
Or any time this year. You think it was just when you were here?
He's only 22.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
only 22.
Exactly.
Very, very high ceiling, that
Yeah.
guy. We could be talking about him for a long, long time to come.
He's very sustainable, is what I would